High Rise Mystery, Chapter 55. The smell of fried food wafted through our door at 7. I was awake, having barely slept. I kept an ear and an eye out for Pap. And Mark. Jane knocked on our door. "Made you some breakfast," she chirped cheerfully. "I know you get up early." Norva rose, vampire-like, from her bed and rubbed her hands together, interest piqued. "Yes, Jane, incoming," she called croakily. "I'm thirsty," she said with a hacking cough. She looked at me and rubbed her hands together. "Norva, now we've had a bit of sleep, let's go through things," I said. "We need to prioritise understanding the clock. While you were sleeping, I did some research. The world's most expensive clock went for $6.8 million. For real? That's nuts! Do you think this clock might be worth the same amount?" "That's the thing, Norva. I'm not sure what we're looking for is even a clock." "What do you mean?" she said. "Serena said it was a clock." "I know, but I've just never heard Hugo talk much about clocks ever. He liked architecture, paintings, fabric, vases." "Breakfast!" Jane trilled from the hallway. "Okay, let's feast and then figure it out," said Norva. "All right," I said, "fine." Norva climbed out of bed, opened the door and sprinted down the hallway. Jane had put in work. On the table was the biggest breakfast spread I'd ever seen, in real life anyway. The fullest breakfast. Eggs, fried, bacon, sausages, tomatoes, fried, beans, mushrooms, toast, Vitonica, for me. I quickly snatched the bottle from the table. "Hash browns too," said Norva, as Jane placed another plate on the table. Hash browns. "This is nuts, thank you," Norva said at the table and quickly filled her plate and her mouth. "You know when I said no stepmomming, Jane? This is fine. I didn't mean this. This is acceptable." Jane smiled. "You're welcome." Ding ding! Jane's phone. Her hand flew to her mouth. "Oh no," she gasped. "The hub's been vandalised." Quick glance at Norva. "Oh no," said Norva flatly, looking at Jane. "That's too bad. Do you know who did it?" She craned her neck to look at her phone. I stared at my plate. No details," Jane said, pushing herself away from the table. "I'm going to head down, see if I can go in." Jane sighed as she put on her sandals. "I worked so hard on that place." She bent down to stroke Ringo and left, closing the door behind her. "Maybe we should have stopped him," I said. "Nah," Norva replied. "Collateral damage. Plus, you can't mess with timelines like that. If we did, who knows which dimension we'd exist in this morning?" "I suppose." Norva reached for a sausage. "This munch is so good." Norva banged the table between words. She held onto the table but pushed her arms away. Her eyes rolled back in her head. "So good," she whispered. "Is it?" Norva reached for a hash brown. Grease dripped down her fingers. "Recalibrate your taste buds, honestly," she said. I poked at a mushroom. "I was surprised you're being decent to Jane this morning, Norva." "Why?" I laughed. "I still don't trust her 100%. "You don't?" "Nope. Yes, just yesterday she was standing around in our flat in the dark, secretly using a key, obstructing the course of justice with her prints." I smiled at Norva. "And all this food? What if she's poisoning us so she has Pap all to herself? What if she killed Hugo out of misguided solidarity with Pap?" Norva dropped the hash brown. She stared into space. I'd caused her to malfunction. "A joke, Norva." I waved my hand in front of her face. No movement. "It was just a joke," I said quietly. Ding ding! Norva's phone broke the silence and her trance. "George," she said. She read it out in his voice. "Girl, you smart." Norva looked at me, switching back to herself. "I know this. I've met me." She reverted to George mode. "Leaving the recording on was a big move. You know I can't send unlaid tracks. Bad luck. So come down. Now." Ding ding! Another text. I leant over her shoulder to see. "Also, crazy movement next door this morning. Something doing." Norva sent a text back. "Incoming. Clue, please." Ding ding! Mark. Serena. The clock. I jumped to my feet. "Let's go. It's unravelling, Norva. Let's move." She sat still. "Norva, what's wrong with you?" I took a sip of my Vitonica. "Nick, I think we've been looking at this the wrong way. I reckon..." There was a knock at the door. Ringo barked loudly.